you?
Better.
Good. I'm glad you're having a better day. You had a bad start to yesterday.
But it certainly improved. We had a lot of fun.
Good.
We went shopping and scored some fantastic deals. In fact, we were at the same store for 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, because both teenagers were trying on things and they had this massive clearance and it was great.
Awesome.
So I don't know if they have this store in the East, but it's called Sierra Trading Post. It's kind of like,
I don't think so.
it's kind of like
an LL Bean kind of thing.
Yeah, or an Eddie Bauer, something like that, right? But they have an outlet here. And then they have like the distribution center and stuff is here. Like if you ordered online, the shipping, anyway, we were in there. And because they have like, gym clothes, workout stuff, but they also have like parkas or snowboarding pants or, they have a lot of hiking stuff and outdoorsy type things.
Yeah.
Right. But they have some really cute sweaters and yeah. So the teens they scored. Yeah.
Good for them. Awesome.
Right. But I will say the only thing I wish is places like that. If you have teenagers and they're trying on things and it's taking quite a long time, they should have a mom bench outside the dressing rooms.
Any dressing room should have multiple benches for the people waiting.
Yes.
And if they're smart, they would provide some form of entertainment, be it magazines or stuff on the wall to read, even.
Oh, I had my knitting. Yeah, I had my knitting.
Yeah. But not everyone comes prepared, or you don't think you're going to find the massive clearance sale. I love a yarn store that has the seats, for the trailing spouse, as I like to call them. Not necessarily a husband seat.
True.
Sometimes it's a wife seat or whatever,
Of course.
But that's one thing I love about Webb's in Northampton, also known as yarn.com.
Okay.
You walk in and there are seats right there, right at the door. It's a huge yarn store. It's probably the biggest yarn store you will ever be in. I mean, because you have access to the warehouse at the back also. So it is massive, but they have seats right there as you walk in. And my husband doesn't even bother. He just stays in the car and does work on his phone, while I'm in there. But I love that that's there. And there's like toys for little kids, and they're smart.
Yeah.
They're smart.
It is smart.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. So that was a successful trip though. I mean, I was pleased because the one daughter, it's just sometimes difficult to find what you want. So we had a good day. Yeah, we finally got home in just barely enough time to log into Patron Knit Night last night, but I made it.
I've been with Erin before of Morehouse Farm when she's had a knit night started and we were coming home from the farm and we're not going to make it. So she logged in, like she's driving, but she had me log in and we were in the car talking to the people on the knit night.
If you have good
for the first few minutes.
Yeah. If you had good cell service where you live, you could maybe pull that off. I did not.
But it was nice. I was like, oh, okay. Like if, sometimes you don't give yourself permission to be human sometimes, until you see someone else be human. So I saw her do that and I was like, okay, if I'm ever late, like I don't have to kill myself getting home for knit night.
It'll be okay.
Life happens. It's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Not life or death for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So what are you up to?
I don't even know. Like, I don't remember what I did yesterday. It's one of those days.
You told me you uploaded all your stuff.
Well, that was the evening. And I'm like, why did I wait till the evening? I can't remember what I did yesterday.
You were going to the grocery store.
I went to the grocery store.
Salad stuff.
And I made Caesar salad. And it was delicious. Mm-hmm. And I have enough dressing for like 5 more salads. So, and I got to eat it within a week. So there's going to be a lot of Caesar salads in my future. I'm very happy about that. It was delicious.
It's the small things.
What did I do in the afternoon?
Took a nap.
I took a very short nap because I had to get it. Oh, yesterday was my knit night. So I had my knit night after, I did some yarn loading, had my knit night, and then I had to go get my hair cut at 7:15
Oh, that's right.
at night.
Yeah.
I love my hairdresser because she picked up on the first time she cut my hair. She picked up on the fact that I'm not a small talky person, and she's totally cool with it. And so
It's okay
she
to just sit there and enjoy the haircut.
She just cuts my hair in quiet. And she's done it every time. And I tip her so well at Christmas time for that. Like, I'm just like, I love you. Please never leave. Like, just let me have this, 40 minutes or whatever of quiet time. And I think she enjoys it too, because otherwise you're like chatting all day. So she gets a little bit of a break from that. And I just love her to death. I love how she cuts my hair. I mean, I'm just very, very happy.
Well, I love my hair person too. Usually I want to be the first person of the day. So I'm usually hurrying up with my chores in the morning so I could drive to town to be there. I like to be the first person. And I like my hair person. Shout out to Amity, because she's so funny. She's just snarky and she's funny. And, we've had our coffee by then. So we do chit chat, but look at my hair. It takes her like 20 minutes. I'm out of there. So,
yeah.
And then I go do errands and then I come home.
I used to have so much anxiety about going to the hairdresser because I'm like, I'm going to have to like make small talk. And I always just feel awkward about that. And then, like, she just like sixth sensed that.
That's nice.
I was just
it's
cool.
Nice
and
when people know.
Yeah. I love her. I was driving home last night thinking if she ever moves to another salon, I'm following her. And if she ever retires, I will die. I will just grow. I will become Rapunzel.
Just grow your hair.
I'll just be Rapunzel. That's how it'll
Samson.
be. Yeah. Yeah. My power. So anyway, I'm working the yarn stash de-stash ahead of everybody else because I need to get pictures taken on social media.
And you have to write.
It's always good, if peek behind the curtain. Anytime you host an event online, it's always good to be a little bit ahead in case life happens and you end up behind. You don't want to end up behind. Yeah. So I always try and be several days ahead. So I'm actually already working on my yarn. That comes in the second week of the yarn stash de-stash. And this time I decided I am going to catalog all my wool, all my yarn. I think I talked about that already. So one thing I decided to do was as I restore it, I'm going to store it by weight.
Right.
So imagine this, as I'm pulling everything out, imagination, as I'm pulling everything out of storage, I have one shelf over there that as I find bulky, I'm putting all the bulky on it, and that's full. So 3 feet long, and like Jana's height, behind Jana, like that height, 3 feet long, all my bulky fits there. Like it fits.
Wow, you have a lot of bulky. Huh.
Now imagine the rest. Okay. So my side here.
Okay.
I will post a picture on the day so you can see it, people who are following along. I started sorting things into just brown paper grocery bags.
Right.
Okay. And so I have one for lace weight. And as that got filled, I opened another one, put it right next to it. Right. Okay. So it's ended up being a bar graph of my different sizes of yarn that I have. And it's not even all of it, because all of this is, the bottom one is all my Morehouse ones. And the three up here are all Jameson and Smith or Jamesons of Shetland. And those are all full. Over here, I have 2 shopping bags of lace weight.
Right.
I have 6 shopping bags of fingering weight. I have 2 of sport, not so bad. Okay. I have 4 of DK, 2 of worsted, and 1.5 of Aran. So, and also,
so you don't need to buy yarn for a good while.
I don't need to buy. Also, if it's already designated for a project, I didn't bother to categorize it. I didn't bother to put it on
Right.
Ravelry. So
Right.
if you imagine like a standard size laundry hamper, that's projects
Okay.
that are
Well, and
already
the
in
other thing I
project.
want to point out is like, it has taken me personally, like people are like, oh, your stash is huge, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, yes, but I've also been building my stash for probably 20 years.
Yeah.
Right.
So
It's not like this
yes.
happened overnight. Right.
Right.
So less people think I won the lottery, which no.
No.
This,
Yeah. So this is years and years. And this is probably a third of my mother's yarn also
right.
from when she passed. And I have gotten rid of a lot of hers, made donations places of her yarn, but there's about a third of it that I kept as well.
Yeah.
And then again, pull back the curtain a little bit. When you do what Jana and I do, sometimes yarn just comes to you.
On occasion, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. And you just end up with yarn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is now I cataloged it all. Some of it is yet to be gleaned because I didn't want to make a decision yet on some of it, but some of it's going to go away. I'll probably get rid of a couple shopping bags full of yarn.
Right.
In the destash process.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of thrift stores. It's a very, very small town, but there is a thrift store, but then there's also like the senior center.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Or sometimes, your local church may have an activity kind of thing, or somebody at the library may be hosting a knit night or an activity thing. I mean, there's, you can go drop it off at the Goodwill. That's fine. But I don't know. I mean, for me to do that, I'd have to drive an hour, but we do have like a more local senior center.
Yeah, we have a lot of options around us for what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to offer some of it, probably not the lace weight stuff, but some of it I'll offer to my friend who's a teacher at a tech school, and they're just starting a program, a knitting club thing.
Nice.
And then some of it I think I'm going to pull to set aside as prizes in the coming whatevers.
Yeah, for sure.
And just have that set aside. But some of the stuff, like I really want to do the hexapuffs blanket,
right?
Where if you don't know, it's like you do a little hexagon shape that's double-sided and you stuff it, and then you connect all of those together to make a blanket.
And the actual pattern, I believe, is called the Beekeeper's quilt.
Yes, I think
something. It's not
something along those lines.
Everybody calls the individual puffs hexapuffs.
A hexapuff,
but it's the Beekeeper something. I'll find it and put the link down below.
Right. So I was thinking like I would use scraps of sock yarn as I knit socks, but we all know how much I enjoyed knitting socks. So I have sock yarn that's not going to become socks. And my thought is to just, instead of waiting for scraps, I'll just use it.
Well, yeah.
In the hexapuff one,
of course,
use it up that way, sure. And have more, not quite so scrappy.
Yeah, you should have like a whole gradient theme or sections of color. Yeah,
a gradient would be fun.
It would.
Yeah. So anyway, so I have plans for it. Later today, I'm going to start packing it back into things and get it put back away. I have my grandmother's trunk from when she left home.
So do you store it with like lavender sachets, or?
I put it in the wool. I put in cotton project bags or tote bags. If you end up you go to an event, you get a tote bag, whatever kind of thing. I always hold on to those and I use them for yarn storage, old pillowcases. Put your wool in cotton, because the moths that like wool are not interested in cotton. So they won't eat through that cotton barrier. They'll just leave it be. So I put everything into a cotton bag, and then it gets stored where it's going to be stored.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't, and I tend to do lavender and also sage.
Yeah, I have a blend because I can't use lavender because my daughter has an allergy. But I have what I have right here, actually.
Sage is good. You probably, you don't grow sage where you live.
Really, it just has to be a strong smell. It just has to be a strong smell to mask the smell of the wool. People use lavender because people use lavender, but it just has to be more smelly than the wool, so the moths can't find it. So I found a blend. I use thyme and cloves.
Oh yeah,
and rosemary.
There you go.
And I just mix it up. Put it in sachets and put it in. So I this is from like when I first did it. I'm going to refresh some of my bags and probably make a few more as I store things away.
Yeah. I didn't know that
And
about
I haven't,
cotton though.
you
That's
know,
really cool.
knock
Really
on,
cool. Yeah. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
that was a game changer for me.
yeah.
I stopped storing things in plastic at that point. And
and that just seems incongruous to put wool in plastic. Seems weird.
Well, it needs the airflow. It needs the airflow to stay nice. So, I mean,
What you're saying is I should probably put this away properly and not leave it sitting here.
Well, a bright, airy place is also okay because the moths that go for wool like dark, still places. So if you're in that stash and moving things around periodically, that's going to be enough to deter them most likely.
Right.
And I do want to say, of all of my wool, for my plant fibers, I have one grocery bag, and for my acrylics, I have one cone of like this big of a baby yarn, and that's it. So this really is 99% of my stash. Yeah.
Awesome. When we did this last year, I went through a bunch of things and I thought, oh, I had some like the Lion brand homespun. It's like really soft and it's big box store available. And somebody had given me a bunch and I had it and I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe I'll make a poncho for someone. And then I'm like, well, am I really going to do that? Yeah, probably not. But I kept it. But now here we are a year later doing this again. And I think I'm ready to turn loose of it. Like, am I really, if I haven't even thought about it in a year, do I need it? Probably not.
I think this is one of the benefits of doing the yearly yarn stash stash is just to see everything every year. You can go through, make sure everything's in working order, make sure you have what you need, but you're also, as you say, seeing everything and making that decision. You know what? I have the same thing. I have some yarn I'm finally letting go of. It's a really nice acrylic. It was a high dollar acrylic that I inherited from my mother.
Right.
That I was like, well, I'm going to hold on to this and use it for some projects. And this is my third time doing the yarn stash stash with people, and I'm letting it go because I still haven't used it. Yeah. I found wool alternatives for children. Just get superwash, whatever, and give them wool.
Well, let me say something about that. People think they need to hold on to acrylic for baby wear. However, acrylic is not fire safe. I mean, wool is much better. Superwash wool. Buy superwash wool if you're baby knitting. Acrylic is bad news because if people think about fire safe, think about that. If you get fire on acrylic, it melts. It's plastic.
It melts. Yeah.
And it sticks. It sticks and melts. Yeah. Wool is fire retardant.
Right.
It's much safer.
It's a much safer option. Yes. And it doesn't absorb stains and stuff like a cotton does.
Right.
Well, it's really the best. Like choose a BFL or a merino
superwash.
And superwash. Yeah. And do that. Yeah. And also I want to say, like, as you said, Jana, I did not always have this stash.
Yeah.
15, 20 years ago, I was knitting from big box store yarn and whatever. And that's what I could afford. And that's fine. I'm not trying to like stash shame or say to people, you should get rid of this or whatever.
No, like but I will point out too, that there are some wool yarns that are affordable in the same way that there's acrylic yarns that are more affordable.
Right.
So it just takes a little bit of, like we're talking about voting with your dollars. It just takes a little research, but you can absolutely buy wool that is more affordable. It doesn't have to be the luxury yarn. It doesn't have to be like that. So,
and some of them are even in those big box stores now. The market has spoken and they're carrying wools.
Yeah, it just takes a little time to look.
Check the labels and make a good choice. Anyway, so today we're going to be doing our cable needles, our circular needles, which for me, I was keeping up with mine pretty well. I hadn't acquired very many. I'd just gotten a few to fill in some gaps through the year.
And sizes, right?
But then I have this love affair with nylon needles where the entire needle is nylon. It's formed nylon. So there's no join.
Okay.
And when you travel, it doesn't get picked up by the scanners at all. So there's no questioning. You're not worried about getting stopped on your way through security, because legally you are allowed. It's not banned to have knitting needles, but every now and then they'll stop you and be like, what are these? And you're like, oh, it's not banned. Let me through. So you don't even have to deal with that.
Okay.
And I sort of put out there one time that I love these needles. And my friend Rachel, who owns You and You nearby, was like, hey, I got a bunch of these in a donation and you're welcome to come get them. So I did. And she included a whole bunch of other circulars with them. So I sort of like I forget the brand, like just some of the Susan Bates kind of style ones.
Or Boyle, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Boyle kind of one. So I went through, I grabbed all the
Boyle, but
Boy,
B-O-Y-E.
B-O-Y-E, yeah.
Yeah.
So I grabbed those, but I'm pulling out the other ones. I got to go through and pull out the other ones. And then I had a few of those kind too that I don't really need anymore. I'm going to pull those out. Those are going to go in the donation box too.
Yeah. And they're really good for people to learn with. Sure.
Yeah. They're a perfect start. They're like a low cost, they're fine for beginners.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I did do, again, because I'm ahead of time, I've never done the thing where you fix your kinky ones,
right,
by holding it over steam.
You can do that, or you can also get like a boiler tray, the thing you put in your oven, the boiler pan.
Okay.
Or you can also just get a cookie sheet that has enough of an edge, or a cake pan. Lay them out in the cake pan and then pour boiling water and just let them sit there in the hot water.
That's a good idea, because when I did
maybe
mine,
not boiling, maybe not boiling, but hot.
I'd always heard use tongs and suspend the tongs over the steam in over a boil pot.
Sure.
That didn't work. It doesn't work because you end up either dropping, you have to get close enough to the boiling water for that to work. Steam. Yeah. Otherwise, so you're either holding it up so that the needle part isn't, if you hold it up, the needle part is getting in the water and stuff.
Oh, right.
And if you have it low enough to get close, then they're hanging over the pot, getting close to the
you'd have to hold each end and kind of go like this.
That's what I was doing. So don't worry about using tongs if you want to do this. Just line up all your ends on one side and hold it, and then let it pass over the pot like that. It worked fine. And it wasn't burny at all.
The tea kettle.
Yeah, tea kettle would work. And it worked perfectly. I've never done this before. Totally worked.
Nice. Yeah, I have a couple I should do that with, of the older Knit Picks needles that I very first got 15 years ago, the interchangeable sets from Knit Picks that have those purple cords that are kind of, especially if you do magic loop and you're folding them in half, it happens. I mean, they just get a little bit of a bend in there. Yeah, I need to go through and straighten them all out. That would make me happy.
Yeah. So those are all good. So I've got quite a box building for someone somewhere. It's going to get some good donations this time.
You could, if you have a local, the other thing you can do, if you have stuff that you want to donate to, not just take to a thrift store or whatever, and then wonder, or a church, if you, we have a local community county trading post page on Facebook. So people post what they have, and then somebody's like, oh yeah, I'll take that. And you just arrange to meet them at the park in town or whatever.
Yep. That's a great, we've done some offloading that way.
Yeah. And then you're giving to someone who's truly interested.
Right. Yeah. Yep. All good ways.
So should we open something?
Yeah. Do you want to do yours, the Kwanzaa one first?
Yes. Okay.
I want to see what it is.
This is day 5 of Kwanzaa, right?
Yes, and we're only doing one day.
Okay.
Just day 5.
So day 5 is about purpose, remembering and restoring African and African American cultures, customs, and history. So I think that's a good thing, even if you're not African American, because it's just learning about other cultures. I think it's great. So cool. Oh my gosh, I was messaging with Carol and I'm like, oh, that silk merino is divine. And she's telling me over Instagram messenger, she's like, yeah, this coming year, I'm going to focus more on that blend and have fingering in merino silk. Can you imagine how luxurious of a wrap that would be? Yeah,
that would be lovely.
Day 5.
Okay.
It's big. Oh, it's big also. Of course, we knew that. She said it was going to be full-size skeins from the get-go. Woo! Oh my word.
Wow.
This is the Foghorn 2. And then, oh, I see. Look, there's 2 of them with minis. So it's like 2 sock sets.
Nice.
See the minis?
Yeah.
So this is 230 yards each, 50 grams each. Okay, so this is one.
So it is
all right.
like socks, like a pair of
So
socks.
these are 50 grams a piece. And then the minis are 20 grams each. That makes me happy because then you would certainly have enough, not only to just do heels and toes, but to do the cuff as well. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Look at
Awesome. Those are
that.
going to be gorgeous socks one day.
Oh my word. Maybe sooner rather than later. That's amazing. Oh, Carol, she's done well. This is
So good at this. I need to get over to her website.
CoopDye.com.
Except I don't need more yarn.
Oh. That's true.
Day 9. Maybe by next year. Maybe by next
Kwanzaa.
Christmas.
Right.
Ooh. So this is okay. Ooh. Oh, look at the sheep. Hi, friend.
Oh.
So here's the yarn for today. It is from Kate Mikalska, who is a spinner and weaver. It is grass-fed, rotationally grazed, and ethically raised Lincoln long wool sheep and Lynch lineback cattle.
Okay, wow.
Luxurious, durable wool fleeces, yarn, and sheepskin. So this is a DK from her Lincoln long wool sheep. You can tell it's wool. It's got a little bit of a prickle, but it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really like, I like a sleek wool. Like every now and then I just like to find a sleek wool, and that's usually your long wools. This is nice. I like that one.
That's lovely.
Okay, let me do day 10 real quick, and then we'll see our national parks.
All right.
One more day, Jana.
It's been a lot of fun. I'm going to feel a little weird.
I know. Bam, look at that. How cute is that color? So this is from Revolution Wool Company. 100% pure wool yarns grown and milled in Canada from a single source farm. So this is a DK.
Okay.
They call it growth, but it doesn't say, they don't say which breed it is. So it's a single breed, but they didn't say which one. Look at that. That's gonna be.
So say the name of the farm again in case people want to look it up.
Revolution Wool Company. So it's revolutionwoolco.com.
Okay.
Nice. I like that color.
I love the color. Yeah. Cool.
Okay. National parks.
This is number 30, day 30.
Ooh.
This is from Jilly Kiddles. We have an interview with her today, and this is the last day of Bryce Canyon National Park. Wow. I wasn't expecting that. Look at this. Look at, woo.
Oh, sparkly. I love it.
Wow.
That is fantastic.
This colorway is called Canyon Depths, and it is on her Glimmer Sock Mini.
That is sparkly.
Yeah, 75% merino, 15% nylon, 10% silver stellina.
So do you have the other two?
Do I? Sorry, I think I do not. I'll post a picture of all of the 3 on my Instagram story.
All 3 together, yeah.
Woo!
I do love the sparkle.
I love her logo. Isn't that cute?
It's very cute.
So we have an interview.
I enjoyed our talk with her too.
We did. She's a lot of fun. She's a lot of fun. And she's one of these people that really does do a weekly newsletter, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like she's good at it. I like aspire to do this, and then I never seem to get it together.
That is one of my things I'm hoping to do this year, is to be better about my newsletter.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Well, I'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Last
day tomorrow, guys.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Hey.
Hello.
It's good to have you back.
Thank you so much for having me. This is great.
Glad for the chance to meet you. But we wanted to have you on, of course, to talk about your work with the Advent that Jana got this year. And we wanted to start by finding out how you became a hand dyer. What was it that drew you into that?
Well, I am an obsessive knitter, and, we're really, concerned with stitches and colors and fiber contents and all of that. And we want this perfect project. And it starts with the perfect yarn. I was finding that I had something in my head that I wanted to create, and it wasn't necessarily like what you see in the pattern. It's not necessarily the original, but I have something I want, and I look and look and look, and I couldn't find it, or I found it and I like couldn't get my hands on it, or I couldn't see it in person. And that was some of the driving factor for me. I just wanted the colors like that I wanted. And so I decided to just try it out and see. I always sort of started it out thinking that it might be something I'd want to make into a business, and like, where could I go with this? Even like on a smaller scale than I am now, but I always thought it'd be something. So yeah, I just decided to try it out, to play, to learn. I researched a ton. I watched a lot of tutorials, and you get a class here and there and pull together what you can. And then I just jumped in. Like there's not a well thought out long story. I just like, let's just go for it.
You didn't like write out a giant business plan. No.
Oh, no. Maybe I should have, but
I mean, did any of us? Maybe Anne did.
No. I think a lot of us get bogged down in that, and really
I can't do that.
In today's sort of world, you really do have the option to just dive in and start doing and learn along the way.
Right, exactly. And there's a lot of learning, but it's been fun. So
and I think especially in the last year and a half or so with the pandemic, and people are engaging in hobbies and taking up things maybe they normally wouldn't. And we've talked to several people that have been part of this National Parks project that are newer dyers, maybe newer than you even. And because you've been doing this, how long now? 3-4 years?
Almost 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think particularly during the pandemic when people were maybe starting up. And so I think now there's more hand dyers now in 2021 than there were in 2018, for example. So you've had some interesting stuff come up, like you have some clubs that go on and your advents that you've been doing. So tell me what you feel like your focus makes your shop unique and kind of stands out from all the other.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Besides your super cute logo, we were commenting how we like your super cute logo.
Yeah, I know. I told you last time that my daughter designed that for me. She was taking a graphic arts class in high school a few years ago, and she had to come up with a logo for a company, like a fake, imaginary logo. And she was like, "Would you want me to do it for yours?" I was like, "Yeah, don't make the fake
totally.
one. Let's do this." So she made my little sheep for me. It's a mama sheep and a baby sheep. So
it's cute.
Yeah. So I always want to say what sets me apart are the colors, because I feel like, as a hand dyer, that's what you want your whole thing to be. And I do have my own aesthetic, but I think that's not really it, because every hand dyer has their own thing. So they're all unique in a sense, right?
Right.
I think what sets me apart is more like the connection of the community and the clubs and things of that nature. Yeah. I do a bunch of different like clubs, and I often call them kits because it might be a one-time installment, but where I grab a theme, something that is meaningful to me, and I try and find people who it's meaningful for them as well, and we kind of work that up. So in the past, I've done things like a summer fun box, or I did a Buffy the Vampire Slayer themed club that was several months. I do like the Advent, the holiday mixtape box, and I have a Sock of the Season club that's ongoing every season, and that involves a maker's social where we get together virtually now. And we do that and have a little group chat. Sometimes we have a speaker or special guest. And
that's cool.
I just love being able to connect with the people who are buying my products, and we can kind of talk about them and get, feedback, and more of, it sounds kind of cheesy, more like a friendship. I have a lot of customers, I feel like I call them my friends, and my husband will say, "Oh, well, where did you meet them?" I say, "Well, they're a customer." He's like, "Oh, okay." But they're my friend,
But it's not cheesy. I think that we all have created that knitting community where it is like going to your, like how it used to be where you could go to your local shop and there's a giant table in the middle and everybody sits down together and has their project. And I think because Zoom is accessible now, we can have that. There's I get it. I mean, there's people that I have knit night with and they're my knitter friends. And Like you're a real person. You're not just an internet person on my screen.
Right. Right. And when you email the company, like you get me. Like there's no one else who's really like replying to emails or Instagram messages. Like it's all Jill. So
Right.
I think it's important to connect with people and develop like real relationships. And I'm sure that there are a lot of people who do that as well, but I do think it sets me apart a bit.
Mhm.
And
And
I'm
you
glad
have a good
about that.
newsletter. I'll say you have a good newsletter because I get it and I read it. I'm like, oh,
you do? Oh,
yeah, I
that's
get your
great.
newsletter. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I love writing the newsletter. I feel like I'm chatting with my friends over a cup of tea, and I don't know if it comes off like a wacky because it's more conversational.
It is conversational. Yeah, it's cool.
I just went over and signed up.
Oh, awesome.
I love a good newsletter.
Oh yeah.
Yes. It's only once a week, so it's not like it's a ton and you get overwhelmed,
Mhm.
So it's fun. Good.
It is.
Well, I'm excited.
Excellent. But do you have any favorite fibers or colorways that you prefer working with or that you keep getting drawn back to?
I will say, so orange is my favorite color. So I'm
Really?
always drawn to orange. I'm always creating new oranges and things, although I don't have any in the shop right now, but it's because I'm creating something new for a collaboration that comes out. So I can't really talk about it too much, but I guess I could say it's annual. This will be the third one. If after doing it twice, when you have a third in the works, it's like an annual thing now, right? Like,
Yeah,
I think so.
for sure.
It's with Soft Yarn Designs. So Lena is a friend I had met in person a while back, and it turned out I was a yarn dyer and she was a knitwear designer, and we ended up clicking and we've been working together. So I have something coming out for her, and those colors, it's like I keep working them, but I can't put them in the shop too because I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
So I'm like kind of without orange right now, but orange I always go back to, as well as blue. I wear blue, I dye blue, I knit blue, like blue. These chairs are blue. Everything is blue. I can't get away from it. And I never say it's my favorite color, but maybe I should switch it because like I do a lot of blue. But I think blues can go so many different ways in the dye pots. Like there's an infinite number of blues, and I don't know. I can't stop dyeing them. I love to work with them.
Well, and orange and blue work so well together that it's a good pairing. So
exactly. Yes.
It is. I have to say, just a regional comment. It does remind me of the Denver Broncos. I mean, just saying.
Well, maybe I did that on purpose for you.
Oh, could be. I mean, like, I don't really care about the Denver Broncos.
Oh, okay. It does. You see it a lot because they're, the opposite colors of the color wheel. So, they go well together. But I can't stop working with them. Hopefully people don't get tired of all the blues. I don't know.
I don't think so. I think a lot of people love blurple, blue, purple, blurple.
Yes.
All that.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a good segue though. People should sign up for your newsletter and watch what you have coming up with this collaboration. And what else do you have coming up for looking forward to 2022? Your seasonal sock thing.
Yeah, that will be coming back out. At the end of the year, we always kind of do a revamp and we figure out what do we want to change, what do we want to keep. Because I work with another partner, a Rhode Islander, originally from England, but she has lived in Rhode Island a long time, and we work together. And so we'll be having that coming out. I'm going to hold off on opening them until it actually is the new year. So we call it the SOS Club. It's the sock of the season, but those ship in February. So it'll be a little while. I have a few different design collaborations, but it's all like secret. So I can't talk too much about it.
Okay, but you can watch your newsletter for,
yes.
I mean, that's the point and you're on Instagram and all that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's always a great place to find me and find out. The newsletter really has like all the most recent upcoming stuff first. So I announce a lot of things on Instagram. Some things I do, some things I don't. It depends. But the newsletter gets a lot of exclusive things and they always get the first announcement. So if you want to be in the know,
where it's at, totally.
The newsletter is the way to go. Yeah. There was something else I was going to say before, but I kind of lost track. But
I made you lose your word. Sorry.
Yeah. Let me ask you one more thing, and then we can come back. We can come back to that. So you have you're Jill, and the name of your company is Jilly Kiddles. Mm-hmm. And you talk on your website about how the Kiddles is referring to your children and how the business is a family affair. And we already heard about the logo designed by your daughter. Yeah. What are some other ways that your family helps out in the business?
Yeah, so a family affair. I did name the company after the kids because they're so much a part of my life. Like I'm a mother of four. I've been a stay-at-home mom for a super long time. And now I'm an entrepreneur. But when I started, I didn't think of myself as an entrepreneur. I just thought, I was like stay-at-home mom. So it kind of all tied in. And so much of our lives like revolve around all being together and doing things together. And I know most families are like that too, but like we're known in town for being the ones who all go to every game. Like they'll joke around like, oh, the Learys are here. Like we're here for the basketball game for, a 9-year-old. And we're literally all there, like all the siblings, everyone's there, we're cheering. And
Cool.
I don't know, I didn't think it was weird till someone pointed it out and they're like, oh, we always joke, you guys are always like all here. And I was like, oh, you start looking around, like, do other people not do that? And they don't. A lot of them don't. So we have a sort of a particular vibe of our little family tribe, but we all kind of just pitch in, like whether it's that people are helping me run stuff to the post office or they're doing stuff around here so that I can get some more work done in the studio. It's all trade-offs, but as they've gotten older, they do help out more. So Brian helps out a lot. He will sometimes wash pots for me and he'll help me with like rinsing yarn. If my back has been acting up, I have like an old back injury that can sometimes be a little bit much. And then my son, who is now a freshman in college, he learned last year to skein minis. And that had been like the elusive thing. No one could figure out how to use a skeiner. Like they came out all wonky and weird and I couldn't get any help for that, but he was able to do it. And then over the summer
for Advents, that's huge.
Yeah, except now he's not here. So I said, oh no, my only helpers are gone. My daughter is also in college and she helped me over the summer. So she actually worked for me. I had like a assistant, I guess I'll say. Yeah. And so I paid a paid job and she helped me with all kinds of things. So when they went back to school, it was a little bit rough. You get used to help and then you don't have it. And I was like, oh, I'll have somebody do that. Well, and there was no one to do that while I did something else. So, yeah. And it's all like, it's the worst jobs, right? So, Irene, do you mind scrubbing down like the burners and you move them all and you wash underneath and the whole, like all the cleaning and the, less fun, less glamorous side?
Okay, so tell us where people can find you, all the places. I mean, we talked about your newsletter. People need to go sign up, but tell us where everybody else can find you on social media and what else do you have, any discounts or anything you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. I guess
you mentioned it to me. You didn't mention it on the podcast.
I'll mention it now too. The premier place to find me that isn't really social media is of course the shop website. So which is
we'll put the link down below to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the best spot. It also has my blog, which had been on hiatus for a little while, but that's coming back. So I'll be posting there kind of weekly with different things, sometimes behind the scenes, fun stuff, sometimes like what's upcoming and that kind of thing. Again, after the newsletter, they always get first dibs, but you can sign up for the newsletter on the website. Right at the very bottom, there's a newsletter sign up. And then I'm on Instagram as Jilly and Kiddles, all one word, A-N-D. Yep. And I have a Facebook page as well that I'm not super active on, but it's Jilly and Kiddles Indie Dyed Yarn. Cool. So you could search for that too and find me on there. It's similar to a lot of the Instagram stuff, but it's a different format because some people are more into that, But those are most of the places that I think I am. I do have a promo. So I wanted to offer 10% off to all your podcasters. Not your podcasters, you're the podcasters, you too as well, and all your listeners. Okay. So I wanted to offer a promo code for your listeners, and I wrote it here so I didn't make a mistake because we don't want that, right? So I put it all caps. It's podcast perk. So that is a pretty easy one, and it has like the repetition, right? So that way you can remember it. I can remember it. Podcast perk, and that will be 10%
Is it all in caps? Is it case sensitive?
All in caps. Yep.
Okay, we'll put that down below
that too, so you can put it in the notes if you want.
We will.
And that's good for everything except for gift cards.
Okay.
And like clubs and things like clubs and kits, like Advent sets, those kind of things usually are excluded from that.
Okay. And so how long is that code good for?
I will make it until the 31st of January.
Perfect.
Instead. Then they'll have a whole month. Perfect. And that'll be good. And then people can kind of get a taste and check it out and see what they think. I'm so excited to watch you open those because so I collaborated with that project, but I didn't order one for myself, and I'm totally kicking myself.
Oh,
I have not even seen them. So we all worked together, and the three dyers worked off of the same photo, but we didn't like work in unison. We weren't in communication,
okay.
which was a unique like way to do that because say you had three major colors, maybe you might each take one. Like ours could all be very similar. They could be opposite. Like, I don't know. So I tried to take a color that there wasn't much of that really spoke to me. And I don't want to say much else about it because no one has opened it yet. But well, I guess by now you will have.
Yeah, I will have, but I haven't.
I picked something that there's just a little bit of it. I'm so curious to see how mine coordinates with the other two, like, and how that's going to work,
Well,
and then
I'll hold them up.
Exactly. I want to see them all together.
But I'm not sending you mine. I'm sorry.
You don't have to send me. I just want to see. I want to see the video. That's all.
I want to know about your sweater.
Oh, my sweater. So see, the sun's coming in and starting to blind it out. But this is made with my leftover advents from last year. So I had sort of like a fade that was the full color, all the whole rainbow. And I just pulled some of them. So I had made a wrap by Amba. I think I did the I don't remember. It started with the Advent something.
Radvent. Yeah.
Radvent. Yes, the Radvent wrap.
Yeah.
And so it didn't use it used a good amount, but like I had a lot left, and I thought, well, I can't let this go to waste. So I decided to just whip up a plain raglan. This is based off of the Tin Can Knits pattern Flax.
Yep.
Or Flax Light rather. They have two versions. It has a patterning like texture down the sleeve, and I just scrapped that because I've done a couple before with it. It's beautiful, but for this purpose, I just adapted a little bit. So that was a modification where I just went stockinette, and then I can watch TV, whatever, and it's like knit and not think about it. So I grabbed a section. I want to say there are 12 or 13 colors in here, so it's not the full one because it goes blue, purple, pinks, and orange, and then mine continued into like yellows and greens, etc.
Yeah.
So you got to use every last bit, So I don't know. It's just they're too special to let them go to waste.
Cool.
I just switched them up, put them with the main color, and figured, easy, done.
Nice. Thanks for joining us. It's been delightful to have you again.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been great.
Yeah.